Spooky season snuck up on me this year. I didn't actually think about which films I was going to see, and I have the problem that I really can't make it to the cinema right now, although there are some really cool, also horror films I want to see. But it gave me an opportunity to check out some classics like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Hi, my name's Drew and welcome to another review video on Flying Wiener. Now, I've actually never seen, prior to watching it for this review, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, right? So it's obviously a film I've always heard about. It's the film with that famous Donald Sutherland pointing meme, you know. I've always known the meme. I was like, someday I have to sit down and watch the film, you know, just to get context for this epic moment, because it really is. And when he seems to go, it really is an incredible image, I think. You know, I'm now having the context. It's really good. It's even better now. It's even better now that I know where it's from. I'm not going to spoil it for you. You'll have to watch the film to find out yourselves. But if you're not familiar, Invasion of the Body Snatchers is actually based on a book which came out in 1955, and we're talking about a film from 1978. Even before this film came out, there was already an original film made in 1956, so just a year after the book came out. 22 years after that, this film came out, so 1978. Everyone was a bit skeptical about why it's being remade, etc. But ultimately, from what I gathered on the internet, I mean, we are talking about a film that's coming up to its 50th anniversary. From what I understand, from what I gather, everyone, or a lot of people, not at the start maybe, at the start it seems to have been a bit more mixed, but over time people have come to accept or find that this is an incredible film, and it's one of the best science fiction horror films of all time. That's how it's regarded as nowadays anyway, right? So just to give you some context, it's really interesting. I mean, just generally watching films from the 70s and you know, long past decades, it's always very interesting to me because I always try to put myself in the shoes of people back then, you know, trying to imagine I'm going to the cinemas in the 70s. Obviously that's impossible. I've had so many modern influences, which, especially when it comes to things like horror, can really lessen the experience because we're used to so many things and kind of been desensitized nowadays, also with computer games and all sorts of stuff. You know, it makes it really difficult at times to really feel the horror. But this still worked for me because, I mean, I'll talk about it later, but there are a lot of elements that still work to this day, I'm very happy to say. But I'll say, you know, let's, as per usual, jump into the plot. I'll tell you what the film is about. Now, the title is obviously already very revealing. It is absolutely accurate. It really just sets you up immediately. And that's what I really like about this film. It really does not beat around the bush for a long time, where films nowadays might, you know, have a sort of slow build up and this creeping dread, and you're like, what is going on? You know, where it's not quite apparent what is going on. You've got your suspicions, but at some point the film is like, this is what's happening. Here, we know pretty much right from the start, like I say, the title tells you, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We've got this alien plant-like race which comes to Earth and, well, they snatch bodies. Not in the sense of taking them away, they sort of make clones of people, right? Sorry, slight spoiler, but you know, it's not really that big of a thing. We do learn this at least halfway through the film, but it's quite obvious. We are focused on actually a pair of people who work at the health department. And this was very interesting to me because for some reason, I don't know all the images I've ever seen of this film. For some reason, I always thought this was a British film, or at least it was a film set in Britain. So it was quite interesting to find out, no, it's set in San Francisco. That really to me was very weird. I don't know why I had it down as a British film, but that's just how it is. Anyway. Yes, we've got these two people working at the health department. They're played by Donald Sutherland and Brooke Adams. And Brooke Adams' character, her husband, is starting to act really strange. And she starts to distrust him. She talks to Donald Sutherland's character about it, you know, and he's like, okay, well, you know, let's try and find out what's going on. They follow him, he's suddenly meeting all sorts of people, and the story just escalates and escalates until at some point, you know, they're convinced that something is going on. He's been swapped out for someone else, you know, and yeah, more and more of this builds up. The film like I say, the title just tells you straight away what's happening, and yeah, there's nothing really more to that, right? We've got this alien race trying to take over the planet, but not in the sense of conquering it, but in the sense of actually just replacing the people. Very simple, very subtle way of doing it, you know, no battles, etc. And that is actually the beauty of this film and the horror that I really experienced, because it's utterly terrifying when you think about it in that way, right? The film itself is also done really well, so we from the start have this sort of this creepiness to it, also in the way how it's filmed. You know, we've got some very artistic shots. Some might be overdoing it a wee bit, but still, it was very trying to do interesting camera work. I'm never against that. It feels a bit claustrophobic, this film, because, and you feel kind of paranoid yourself, because you're sort of on the journey with them a bit, and you're trying to figure out and going, because I mean, they do it brilliantly from the start of the film. You've got a lot of people who look at the background. I was quite impressed by that. If you see sort of things that go on in the background a bit, you'll have people just sort of slightly uncanny valley-esque, you know, they're just standing there looking at things and other people, etc. And you're like, that's not normal, you know. And a lot of these kind of things happen, and I think it's really, really cool. So it builds up the suspense. We see what's going on, and we feel the characters' despair, because obviously when they kind of do let people in on their theories, etc., no one believes them. We've got like characters, we've got the psychologist, he's played by Leonard Nimoy, which is always great to see him and stuff. And he's very, very skeptical at the start. You know, he's like, at some point they do manage to convince him. But, you know, I mean, that must not be easy when people come to you and saying the plants are cloning people. It's like, what? There is this really creeping sense of dread as you realise that this is kind of a struggle that we might not actually win. You know, and this is a spoiler, but the film is, in that sense, it's not like a very modern thing where we have to have a hero and they have to win at the end and all these kind of things. So it is actually a bit of a very depressing film, and I think that's really cool, because that is really unapologetic about it, because like I said, it just marches on. These plants, as it were, are marching on, and you know, it dawns on you that I don't think our characters will get out of this alive. I'm not going to spoil whether they can or not. I'm just saying it's decidedly more depressing, if you will, than what we're used to. And yeah, because I think the actors portray it really well. You've got one more who I would mention, who's Jeff Goldblum. Really fun seeing him so young, 1978. He's there in the mix as well. He just blabbers on. That's kind of role he's always got, isn't it? But it's just, they really sell it so well. Just well, they're kind of lost in this situation. What are they going to do? Everything they try, it kind of fails, or it backfires on them. And yeah, so that's really good. I mean, I've already moved on from the plot now, obviously, but yes, so the way the story's built, I cannot compare it, by the way, to either the original novel or the film that was made in 1956. I haven't read / seen them, so I don't know. I can only base what I know off of this film. I just think they sell it really well. The whole concept, like I say, it's just really, really creepy, because these are also not, these plant people, I'll call them, they're not aggressive. It's not like we are conquering. They're just like, it's a bit like the Terminators, like an unstoppable force. That's what it feels like in this film, and they just sell it really well. The atmosphere, like I already mentioned, is really incredible. The claustrophobia, the actors sell it really well. I think this is a fun adventure to go on. Lastly, I'll also mention the practical effects. A lot of practical effects, because we see these plants and how they do their stuff, etc. There's a lot of also kind of body horror going on in connection with them, and I must say the practical effects are good. Combined with the sound effects, it really makes your skin crawl a bit in various sections of the film. It's really creative. We also see the plants moving a bit, and that, you know, it gives you a tingle on your skin as well. You're like, ugh. It's really good. So they sell it well. Again, I think it's really difficult for modern audiences, you know, like me, having seen so much in the horror department and so much where it goes to the extreme of gore and actual horror and terror and all these things, to go back and see a film that's nearly 50 years old and still actually feel, you know, horrified, terrified a bit. This film manages it. Not outright, I wasn't sitting there shaking, but it really just it made me feel really creepy afterwards, just thinking about it. Like, but yeah, if this happened to us, we'd be fucked, basically, because that's the conclusion I came to at the end of this film. So, you know, if you're like me and you're like, hey, I want to try a really classical horror film, I know we could have gone even further back, but 1978 feels really classical at this point, yeah? I would definitely recommend Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Actors that you do know are in this, you know, it's really fun seeing them when they were younger, / still alive, you know, unfortunately, that's the reality we're in. Yeah, but not just that, like I said, the Donald Sutherland meme, seeing that in action play out was really amazing, would highly recommend. Yes, so if you're not sure what to watch this Halloween, give Invasion of the Body Snatchers a try. That'll be all from me today. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe. It is the best way to support this channel. Leave a comment down below about anything you want to say about the film. Have you seen the original? Have you read the book? Have you got any other recommendations for classical films? Not just horror, just any. Because there's so many out there and it's really hard to sift through all the recommendations. But, I mean generic recommendations, but if I get one, you know, shot at me by comments, that's obviously something I would definitely have a look at. Thank you for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one on Flying Wiener. Take care, bye.